Hello everyone, my name is Harvey Karatha, and today I'll be talking about my values, beliefs, and my ideas on engineering design. As of today, I'm a first-year engineering science student at the University of Toronto, like many of us, and I'm also a woman, and I identify strongly with being a woman in STEM and feminism. Additionally, I'm also the child of two immigrants from India, so I identify with being an Indo-Canadian, more specifically Malayali as well, and that's a strong part of what made me want to become an engineer in the first place, which I'll expand on more later. I realized that there is a strong discrepancy between the technology that we have available and what we see in reality, and that discrepancy comes down to money and politicians. Mainly because we're not rich enough to afford that technology, and politicians are not actively putting them in public spaces. So with that in mind, I am planning, my future goal is to be a politician with an engineering background, so I can actively lobby for us to enforce these engineering solutions in the real world, because that's where the stop comes, where there's available technology and opportunities, but they're just not being enforced. And so my goal is to be a politician. So why did I choose engineering? The main reason I chose engineering was first because when I was really young, I used to always watch my dad, who's a tool design engineer, always tinker away at things. And he always told me about all the different things that each of his tools would be used for. And so that first sort of lit that passion in me to work on things that are hands-on and create things that are my own and create them by my hands. And so that hands-on thing was really important to me at a young age. And I also realized that engineering is one of the only places where you can actively turn any idea you have into a tangible reality, which was a really big thing for me because I found that there was always that disconnect of not having the capabilities to do so. Another thing is, every single one of the major global issues that we're having today, at the forefront of solving those issues are always engineers because they have the capability of actually addressing them. And so that idea of impact is so important to me. And that's actually the main reason why I want to be an engineer, is to have impact. And another thing is, I realized that engineering is literally everywhere, in our cars, in our phones, and all of that. And so I realized that's very versatile. Since we've already covered why engineering, I'm going to also be covering today definitions of major engineering terms, as well as my key values of ambition, versatility, communication, and collaboration, as well as finally talking about how these interconnect to create my own position on engineering design. For me today, I define engineering as the process of creating something that addresses a certain need, and I define design as the final provided solution for a certain need, and the engineering design as the combination of an iterative process and technical principles to create something with purpose.
Ambition is a skill that's my strongest asset that ties most closely with the design metric of effectiveness, because it addresses a specific need. And in Engineers Without Borders, after attending the exchange conference, I was able to look at how people actually solve these global issues and how effectively they solve them. And so another thing I realized is Target Alpha, as the CFO and to promote financial literacy in Canada, I have to find events that most effectively address the issues at hand. And in first year of council, I have to create events that best engage the audience. And so everything I do is with purpose. Communication is another skill I heavily value, and it used to be my weakest skill, and it ties very closely to marketability, which is very important to me because in the end, you want people to go out of their way to want to use your product or your design. And so in Model UN, I used to be extremely nervous, so nervous I couldn't talk at all. But now I'm currently a director for UT MUN, and I'm also a member of the University of Toronto team for Model UN. And I find that talking really helps people get persuaded into understanding the justification behind your product and your choices. And so working in Hart House in debate has really helped me with that. And even in DECA, in which you're attempting to sell the design. I've always worked on collaboration through Human Powered Vehicle Design Team, TBA Live, Softball, and so many other NGOs I've worked on. So I realized that collaboration really creates the most effective design process with quick design choices. And I really saw this happen in the Human Powered Vehicle Design Team, which I'm a member of, in which people with PhDs and masters all work together to create the fastest car possible. And also in TBA Live, where I get to sing a cappella, I'm able to see how our cohesion as a group creates a beautiful sound. And another thing is, in softball, I realized that our team, which might not have had the best skill set, had the best technical collaboration together. And that's why we were able to win in many games.
Collaboration helps make the best out of every team member. Lastly, there's versatility, in which you're able to create the most usable product because you have many different perspectives on many different products and design choices. And I hope to always be well-rounded because it helps interconnect with many different communities that you might be attempting to address using your design. So I've been a part of History Club as the president for many years in my high school, and it helped me see the perspectives in history and the past mistakes that have been made in technology. I'm also the TSA chapter pres at my high school, and it helped me gain many varied skills and meet new people in the technology field. And lastly, working with orchestra, I'm able to meet many senior citizens and really get to know their lifestyle. To me, the most important part of engineering is addressing a need, and after having all these experiences that have boiled down to creating my core values, which all came down to these 4 major DFX, they most effectively, in my mind, address purpose, which is the main aspect of engineering to me. And after considering my position on engineering design, I hope to work on new future projects with your guidance.